Hey guys, Sak here from sakitech, and in today's video, we are going to be doing a full comparison between the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4 versus the Pixel Fold. The Galaxy Fold 4 is the 4th generation foldable from Samsung, while the Pixel Fold is the 1st generation foldable from Google. They both start at $1,800 and promise the foldable smartphone experience. And of course, people want to know which one is better. So in this video, we're going to do a deep dive and compare every aspect of these smartphones to see which one is the better foldable smartphone. At the end of the video, you are going to get precise answers. So let's dive in and get started right away. Alright, so let's quickly talk about the actual build quality. So the Fold 4 is using Gorilla Glass Victus Plus for its construction on the front display and the rear build. Now with the Pixel Fold, what we have is Gorilla Glass Victus, which is one generation older than the Victus Plus, both on the front display and on the rear. Both phones are using high-grade metal around the edges, okay, but overall, the Samsung Galaxy Fold 4 does have a superior build quality. And one more thing, both phones do have the exact same IPX8 water resistance. So you don't have to worry about these phones getting wet and malfunctioning. They're going to be perfectly fine even if you drop them in a puddle of water. Even if you swim in a pool for a couple minutes, you're going to be fine. Now, when it comes to design, one of the big things, obviously, between these two phones is the front display. You can see on the Samsung, the display is narrow and tall. On the Pixel Fold, it is in fact wide and short. So the Pixel Fold is going to be better suited to be used with the outer display like this. So you can see it's very narrow. Okay, and this one is much wider, so you do get more functionality out of using this guy over this guy. There's no question about that. When it comes to bezels on the outside, they're almost similar, even though we have this extra thickness right here, and over here you can see it is in fact a little bit thinner when it comes to that metal hinge. Another huge difference is when the phones are fully folded, you can see Samsung actually has a little gap on the top towards the hinge, which is not as aesthetically pleasing as the one on the Pixel Fold, which when you shut it, it shuts completely flat, as you can see, and that simply looks and also feels better in the hand because it is in fact thinner than the Fold 4 when it is folded. But of course, when we switch over to the unfolded look and design, it is clear that Samsung simply looks superior. We have ultra-thin bezels. We have an under-display selfie camera. With this, we have thicker bezels, making the phone look a little bit older. And also, the selfie camera is inside the bezel right there. So when you unfold them, you can definitely see that technologically, the Fold 4 is more advanced when it comes to its overall design. On the outside, it's the Pixel. On the inside, it's the Fold. Anyway, that's the design and the build. Let's move on and talk about the processor and performance. Alright, so let's quickly talk about the performance of these devices. Now, first, I want to let you know that the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4 has a Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 processor with 12 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage to get you started. The Google Pixel Fold has a Tensor G2 processor, 12 gigabytes of RAM, and also starts at 256 gigabytes of storage. They both have UFS 3.1 storage, which is super fast storage. Now here's a result from the Geekbench benchmarking tool. This is Geekbench number 6. You can see that the Fold 4 brings in the higher numbers. So this is essentially the faster device. When it comes to everyday use, you're not going to see a big difference. They're both smooth and fluid and quick, as you can see. Okay, so performance for daily use is not going to be a problem. Performance for watching videos and all that stuff is not going to be a problem. The Fold 4 might be slightly better at gaming performance at the end of the day. But make no mistake, both of these phones do offer rock solid performance, and you can see the numbers are not that far off. It's just a fact that Fold 4 at the end of the day has the faster processor. Personally, when it comes to performance, I don't have a specific choice. There's nothing here that is dramatically different. I do believe that the Fold 4 is going to have superior gaming performance over the Pixel Fold 2. So I do want to quickly talk about the speaker quality and give you guys a quick sample. So both of these phones have dual speakers, one at the bottom of each device and one at the top. And if I go to the settings of each one of these phones, you can see that they both have their own version of surround sound system. So here we have Dolby Atmos, and on this one we have the spatial audio. Alright, so volume is maxed on both of these tablets. I'm going to play a sample, the same sample on each. You can tell me which one sounds better. I think they both sound great, but I'm not an audio expert. Alright, so let's play on the Fold 4 first. Okay, and then I'm going to do this one. Okay, so it's going to be hard to tell. This one sounded a little bit louder to me, but they both sound nice and clean. So great stereo speakers on both foldables. Alright guys, so next up I'm going to talk about the software experience from a foldable phone perspective. And I do want to let you know that Samsung Fold 4 does have a superior software experience over the Pixel Fold. Let me show you what I'm talking about. And I'm going to focus on specific foldable experiences. So let's say you want to multitask on this, guys. Let's start an app. Let's go to settings. Then I have a dock at the bottom. You can see this at all times, which is very convenient. I can grab any one of these guys. I can put it right here. So now I have split screen multitasking. Now with this one, let me launch an application right here. Now you can see the dock disappeared, but what I can do now is I can pull it up slowly, and now I can grab another app and I can put it right here. And now we have split screen multitasking. I still have the dock available here. Here I don't. And additionally, over here, I can go one step beyond. So for example, let me tap the apps over here and let me grab the calendar application. And now what I can do is I can do three-way multitasking. On this one, I can go to the apps as well, but I'm unable to do three-way multitasking. It forces me to have dual split screen. Okay, now seeing as split screen is available on every Android smartphone anyway, it only makes sense to have this option with a larger screen. Three-way multitasking on this one, we simply don't have it. By the way, if I tap this, I can switch these over, but if I tap on this one, I can also do the same thing here, even with the three options. Okay, and there are some additional options I can access from here as well. So when it comes to multitasking, the Samsung Fold is going to be superior, gives you a greater opportunity to use the larger screen. Now one more thing on the Fold, while the display is unfolded, if I go to the settings and if I go into the display, there is a specific menu just for the taskbar at the bottom here that allows you to actually turn that off if you don't want it. Okay, so that's an option you have here, and also make some useful modifications from here. Again, we don't have a menu here that deals with the taskbar specifically under display over here. Okay, so that's not good. It's nicer to have options, especially when you're spending all that money. See how I can just tap this button and make it look just like this? But if I tap here, I don't have an option on this side to make it look like this. And of course, there's more. I'm going to give you one more example. Go to the settings. All right. Go into advanced features that we don't have over here. Go to labs, and you have a whole bunch of options here that are specifically designed for foldable experiences. For example, this option here, when it is enabled, allows me to use any application, even the ones I download from the Play Store, to be used for my multitasking experiences. So I can use any app in a split screen view. On this one, apps that are not supported are not going to work. And the final thing I'm going to show you guys that's very important to me personally is when I pinch the screen and I go to wallpaper, okay, and if I change the wallpaper on the inner display, it doesn't affect the wallpaper on the outer display. You can see if I turn this off, on the outer display, I have a different wallpaper. With this one, when I do go to my settings, and if I go into the wallpaper and style, when I change the wallpaper, whatever wallpaper I change on this side, let's just do this one right here. Tap on set wallpaper, home screen. Take a look at this. Once it changes the wallpaper, here it's also going to reflect that on the outer display. So there's no customization difference between the inner and the outer display. On this one, it's all the same. Here, they're two separate entities software-wise. Alright guys, so I'm going to quickly talk about the display. So let me go to the display settings here on both of these smartphones. Here's display, and then here is in fact display. Now you can see the brightness level on this display is at 78%. On this one, it is around 55%. But this one still looks brighter. And we are going to be talking about that in a second. However, I want to quickly talk about the screen resolution. So both of these guys have a very similar screen resolution, which means they are equally sharp. And both of these displays are 7.6 inches, but you can see the orientation is a little bit different. Which orientation you prefer as default is going to be up to you. But let's quickly talk about the actual display brightness. Now, Google does claim higher brightness on the Pixel Fold than the Samsung Galaxy Fold 4, but on the outer displays, I'm not seeing that happening. It looks like the Samsung display is in fact brighter. But regardless, they're both visible in outdoor conditions. And here's a look at the inner displays, a side-by-side comparison, Fold 4 and the Pixel Fold. On the inside, again, the Samsung looks a little bit more brighter. And of course, specs-wise, this display here is a 5.8-inch display. You can see it is a wider, more usable display. This one is a 6.2-inch display, narrow but taller than this one. But again, they're going to be equally sharp as far as resolution is concerned. But the brightness appears to be better on the Samsung as well as the quality. Alright guys, so let's talk about biometrics and security. So both of these phones actually have the same exact setup. I'm going to go to the settings. I'm going to show it to you guys. So over here, if I scroll down, go into security and privacy. Under biometrics, you can see I can do Face ID or fingerprints. Same thing with this one. If I go to security and privacy, under device lock, I have the same two options, face and fingerprint unlock. They work the same way, equally secure and equally fast. And of course, I do want to let you know that the fingerprint sensor is built in to the power button on the side of the display on both of these smartphones. Now let's quickly talk about the camera. When it does come to the camera, both smartphones are in a similar level. Most consumers will be satisfied with the shots that come out of their cameras. These cameras are not as good as the ones you find on the S23 Ultra or the Pixel 7 Pro, but they're certainly suitable for most consumers in most conditions. So really not much to say here. These are good cameras and offer similar experiences. One thing I'll mention is Samsung will slightly oversaturate and brighten images, while Pixel is going to be a more realistic representation of what colors actually look like in real life. And of course, you get 3 cameras on the rear on both smartphones. Then you get 1 selfie camera on the outer display of each smartphone and 1 selfie camera on the inner display. So you get 5 total cameras on each smartphone. Now, when it comes to battery life, Pixel actually has a larger battery than Fold 4. We have 4400 milliamp hours on the Fold 4 and 4821 milliamp hours on the Pixel Fold. However, it is too early to know how the battery fares in comparison to the Fold 4. But early tests are not looking that good. Now, both phones have wired and wireless charging, obviously, but only Fold 4 has reverse wireless charging, meaning it can charge other devices wirelessly on its back. Alright, so we have looked at just about everything, and it appears that the Fold 4 as of now is the superior phone in this comparison. It has better build quality, better performance based on the benchmarks we looked at, superior software features. It's got a better designed interior display that appears to have higher brightness and display quality. And all this is available for the same exact price as the Pixel Fold. Now, don't get me wrong, Pixel Fold is not a bad phone. It is especially appealing due to its wider and more usable outer display, but it does lack the overall quality and the software abilities of the Fold 4. And the inner display, frankly, looks outdated. One of the main points of a foldable phone is the inner unfolded display. Outer display is supposed to be secondary. The problem with Pixel Fold is that it gets the secondary display right, but it gets the primary display wrong. And that's not good. So if I had to choose between the two, I would certainly go with the Fold 4, but I would consider the Pixel Fold at a significant price drop at this point. Maybe Pixel Fold 2 will be much better, and maybe waiting is the right thing to do. And that brings us to the end of this video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, drop them down below. Let me know. For now, guys, have a fantastic day.